I'm Riley. I love movies, so let's talk 20 Bridge. Can't even say it. 21 Bridges. It's like that. This is supposed to be an hour and 39 minutes. Felt a little bit long, and we'll talk about that. It was supposed to be, or it is classified as drama mystery. I'm not sure how much of a mystery it is, if it's predictable and super easy to follow, and you can guess what's gonna happen before it happens. Maybe not everyone, maybe for just people who like to watch movies like me, and some people enjoy that, they like to be led to it. But when you classify something as a mystery, where's the mystery if you, like, what? And then you had the Russo brothers directing from all the Avengers and Marvel movies. I was super stoked. Like, this cast is stacked. Like, in all, they had everything to make this a good movie. You know, you have Chadwick Boseman from Black Panther and I forget, it's the number one. The Jackie Robertson story, I think it's number 42. Sorry if I messed that up. But he was amazing in that one. You have Sienna Miller playing a Bronx cop in this one, a narcotics cop. You have J.K. Simmons in it. Like, this cast was stacked. Like, this movie had everything going for it, and they just made the plot, like, it goes like this, you know, like the whole movie, it's just too, and the camera work is shaky, like really shaky in some parts where it's just distracting. There's a point where, like, I know we're in a chase scene and I know we're following him, and maybe I'm just spoiled, but there are ways to stabilize it and not feel all disoriented, because like the person I was with when I saw this was kind of like, what's going on? Like, yes, I get you're dodging under this and you're like going over that, but in a movie like this where there's not a whole lot of like big explosions happening, like the biggest thing to happen, biggest thing, was them setting like a car on fire and then some chase scenes. There wasn't a whole lot of, it's weird, it's not classified as an action, but from the trailer, for some reason, I got action vibe, and that, like I said, that might just be me, but going into this and then looking back later and realizing it's a drama mystery, like, it didn't feel mystery, it didn't feel drama, it felt, you know what it felt like? A really long cop show, right? Like a Criminal Minds episode or CSI, something like that, where you're just chasing after the bad guys, and then the music starts to get intense, so like your body kind of like feels like something's gonna happen, and then it just felt like nothing ever really happened. Like, it happens and there's big shootouts. I keep going back and forth, like, because there's things in the movie that do happen, like shootouts and stuff, but it's just, I was just disappointed. Like, the way things were filmed in this was just, it could have just been the storyline. I really think it is, because like I said, it's so predictable. I mean, we know going in there's dirty cops, right? But you just don't know as to the extent of it. But the way they give you clues, it's like you know before you know, and then you're sitting there going, well, hopefully there's a huge twist or something in the end, and there's not. Like, and at that point too, though, like, I mean, with cop movies, recently not a lot has changed. They follow the same formula, and that could be good or bad, but this one, like I said, it's just my expectations were a little bit higher because of who was in it and who directed it and all this stuff, and I just was really excited to see it, and it just fell flat. You know, you're expecting, I wanted a lot of twists and turns, you know, I wanted to be baffled, I wanted to be able to go along for the journey, but when you were able to guess like that, I mean, sometimes you can just sit back and enjoy it, but this one, like I said, I'm not saying it needed huge explosions, but it needed something else, because as much as I love Chadwick Boseman, his name is Andre Davis in this one, his character is set up to be such a good cop, like Strickler, by the rules, like kind of cop, right? And it's just to a point where like he's playing that so to the limit that you're just kind of like, I know there's probably cops like there, but he's almost not enjoyable to watch, because and that baffles me because I love watching him, but he just takes it to that extreme where it's like, I'm not even sure you're a likable character. Like, his partner in this is the Sienna Miller character, whose name is Frankie, and she's a narcotics cop, and she is on the 8-5, which is the precinct where all those cops got shot in the beginning, you know, in the trailer. So spoilers now. She gets assigned to help him with this case, and you find out that the two robbers that are there, they're now on the run, that they're gonna shut the island down for, they open the freezer downstairs and they were only supposed to be like 30 kilos in there, and they find 300 kilos, right? Uncut. So they're like, the one guy, I think his name's Michael and Ray. Michael's like, dude, we don't want to touch this, we don't want to be a part of this. And Ray's like, no, we're doing this, like, let's take it and go. So they do, and that's what causes this big old storm of like everything. And the 8 cops that died were part of the 8-5, and Sienna Miller's part of the narcotics group, and J.K. Simmons is the Captain McKenna, who's of the 8-5, and he goes up to Chadwick's character Andre and goes, I need to know that you'll take care of this. And he goes, what? And he goes, I need to know, like, if you catch these guys, these families are gonna get through trials, lawyers, mistrials, all this stuff. Like, they leave behind 4 wives, this many kids, this and this. And he's basically saying, I want you to take care of it. And that right there is like, boom, red flag in my mind. I was like, like, I mean, I get grief, but they did it to such a point where you're just like, right? And then he assigns the narcotics girl to be his partner, okay? And then, let's go back a minute. The movie starts with Andre's character in an IA meeting where he's like defending himself for discharging his weapon again. So he is known for discharging his weapon 7 or 8 times, but he said in that thing, he's like, I don't fire first. So that was like a big stickler for him. He's like, I do not draw my gun and fire first unless they fire first. So this is a thing throughout the movie. So you flash forward and Michael has Frankie, the girl detective, he's got a gun to her head, and Andre's trying to calm him down and be like, don't you do this? And she's like, just shoot him. And then you're like, really? She's like, I don't care what happens to me, just shoot him. Red flag, right? And then he's talking to him, and he's like, I don't think you're that kind of person, like, I think you're gonna let her go, and all this stuff. And then he lets her go, but she's later like, why didn't you just shoot him? Like, why? And he goes, well, he didn't fire on me, like, he didn't shoot me, you know, like, he didn't raise a weapon or anything. And that's such a like thing in this movie where it's like, okay, yes, but you could still like shoot him in the leg, you know, you had him right there type situation, you know. And it's like, you get where his morals are, but at the same time, like, I mean, yes, it would make the movie shorter, but it's one of those things where you're just kind of like, I don't know, the story, the plot and stuff is just a little too on the nose for me, because things like that where you quickly realize, like, these guys, like, one of them is so irritated and angry that Andre gets to lead the case, and they get to this one bar, and he's like, nobody goes in but us, nobody touches the suspect. And of course those 2 cops rush in and they shoot the one suspect that could lead them to the other people, right? The other, at that point, there's one left. And he's like, why would you do that? And he's like, he shot first. He's like, oh yeah, with the cop's 38, because he sees it's from the ankle holster from the guy. And then he punches the other cop, and he's like, let me do my job. So things like that, it's like, towards the end you realize, like, those 2 cops were in on it, the captain was in on it, the female girl was in on it. Like, they're not being subtle and letting you know who's dirty in the 8-5. I mean, I don't know if, it's never really quite clear if Andre doesn't know. You can tell he's starting to think it through because of the stuff the suspect Michael is saying. His partner Ray was the impulsive one who actually shot a lot of the cops, because turns out he went to war and he's a really good sniper. And Michael, his older brother, was friends with Ray, died in war. He tried to go to be there with Ray and it didn't work out, but Ray protects Michael. So they were doing this one last big score, and then Michael's the one who's left because Ray gets shot and dies, and then Michael's the one that's still running around, and they went to this guy who's gonna clean their money for him. And when the cops are at his door, he's like, what's your badge number? Because the cops were there before Andre was there. So obviously those cops are dirty, right? How did they find this place? He goes, and then you see the bad guy going, well, what's your badge number? Or what precinct are you from? And they never answered, they just shot. Like, they shot first, so bad cops, right? And it turns out they're from the 8-5 too. Like, they're all these cops are trying to cover their steps or their bases, right? And then it's just a lot of that where, like, it's catching up to them too fast, and Andre's starting to figure it out. And then the Michael guy, when he runs, the bad guy gives him the thumb drives with all their badge numbers and money and all that kind of stuff, because he's pissed they shot him, and I think he dies. I don't think they show him again. And then Michael tries to tell Andre, like, they're all dirty, like, I can't go with you, like, you can't keep me safe type situation. And then they're on the train, and he's telling him, you know, like, I'll bring you in safe and all this stuff, and he's convincing him that, and he goes to walk up to him, and then the girl comes up behind him and shoots Michael, and Michael's dying, and he hands him, and he's like, why did you do that? She's like, I saw him with the gun, I saw him, he was gonna shoot you. He's like, no, he wasn't. And Michael passes off the thumb drives to him, and he obviously suspects something because he pockets them. And then they get off, and she gets praised, and he's thinking about it, and next thing you know, you see Captain McKenna coming home, and Andre's sitting there, and then there's a big shootout between all the dirty cops and Andre, because McKenna's basically like saying, well, we're doing this because we're not getting paid enough, and my guys were doing suicides and not being able to take care of their families and all this stuff. He's like, the drugs were always going to be there. We're just making a little money, protecting our city because we protect a city that hates us. And that was the whole reason why they're doing this. He said all these other things about, like, you know, trying to give it for the families, all this stuff, but really it's money. Like, it truly is money. And like, for all this and all these dead cops, he goes, well, not everyone in the 8-5 was dirty. And Andre's problem was like, well, that's what happens. Like, you got innocent people killed, and now I have to turn everybody in. So of course there's a shootout, and they all die, and you're just kind of going, well, that was it. That was the movie. I knew this was going to happen. It didn't surprise me in any way. I was disappointed because I saw, like I said, like, this should have been better. I'm not even sure how. Maybe a rewrite to the script. I don't know. I mean, maybe see it on Netflix or Redbox when it comes out. Not sure it'd be worth seeing it in theaters unless you like something that's very predictable. And if you're really good, like, if you like cop movies and just kind of like a kickback, relax movie, you'll probably like this. But I wanted more. I don't even know how to describe it. I wanted more. I just wanted more. Bye!